the change we hope for, the longer we must be willing to invest, work, and wait for it. Greetings to everyone. My name is Simran Anand. I'm a student, researcher, activist, and a change maker. Today I have this honor to share with you my intriguing thoughts on a very pertinent question that stands before us in this momentous era of change. Being a gender rights activist, instances have often brought me a series of thoughts to battle and confide in. The most complex ones, by far, have been how can we minimize the conflict between cultural practices and empowerment? Or how can someone embrace change while holding on to their tradition? Or does change always come at a cost of giving something up? These questions are so delicate that it becomes impossible to reach a definite answer, especially if you look at them through a sentimental and cultural lens. But the closest I could get through my research and conversations are some thoughts I would like you to ponder upon. So, when we talk about development, progress, or growth per se, something we must keep in mind is that there is no room for the use of force. You cannot forcefully make someone adopt change and hope for their peace and growth. That would make you colonizers, not change makers. Thus, it becomes very important that people willingly accept change and also realize the importance of change. That is the only way how we can ensure growth and peace. Just for example, if you find a cultural practice hurting the sentiments of a section of community, you cannot really cancel the culture and ask the people to look for a new one. That would just incite more aggression and rigidity, as it is human to get so protective about something you hold so close. The rational approach here, which brings me to my next point, is how to address this situation, which is through education. By educating the community about what's going wrong and the possible alternatives is the best possible course of action that would minimize conflict and would also ensure growth. By interaction and open conversations, we can actually minimize conflict and ensure a peaceful transition to change. Another important arena to look at is to ensure safety and security for the people who are embracing the change. History has witnessed instances of hate crimes and exclusionary practices adopted against the individuals who decided not to conform with the cultural norms. Thus, it becomes very important to ensure a safe environment for the change to be enacted, which can only happen if we work not only with the target individuals, but also their subsiding environment, which is through not only educating a fraction, but the community. Even after adopting all these pointers, even after working through all these lines, it is natural to be presented with a certain amount of resistance, as it is very hard to accept changes to your heritage. It is very hard to acknowledge that something that you have been holding so close to you, close to your values, is flawed. And thus, it is not important to look for a radical shift. A culture is formed over years, and expecting a change overnight is a little too ambitious. With promoting the mere mindset of being flexible to change or being open to listening about the alternatives does the trick. An example that comes best to my mind is by not calling a particular dress code regressive for women, but rather working on the idea of giving women the freedom to choose for themselves, to choose what they wish to wear, does the trick. And that also ensures true freedom and the real meaning of liberty. Lastly, there is no absolute right when we are working with something so complex and personal like culture or traditions. The best we can hope for is a better tomorrow. Work with best intentions and be open to criticism and feedback. Lastly, as change makers, it is very important to note that a change is a circle and not a point. It comes to everyone and it begins from us.